Hey, Karen Lapuma, thank you for joining me. I'm very excited. Every year we do this when we're getting ready for one of our sacred ceremonies, and it's always so magical. What happens when we look at the astrology for the day and the time of the ceremony? It's been like unbelievably how amazing and spot on it is about the meaning and the theme of the ceremony, and then what the astrology is saying for that day. And I think we're finding that this Magdalene Moonrise service is the 12th annual Magdalene Moonrise service, and it's going to be held online on Zoom. And you can go to the gospelofmarymagdalene.info and sign up for it. And the theme of this year is, and we have from the I will show you from the flyer, is the Mount Tam Sleeping Lady. So it's awakening the sleeping lady. It's like we're all in the process of really awakening to who we really are and claiming our higher selves. And then by claiming our higher selves, we can then join together and manifest a world living in love. Where she is the demonstration, right? The Magdalene is the demonstration of that world living in love and what she was able to create and her teachings out of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. Anyway, it's one of my greatest joys and my most wonderful gifts in the world is to celebrate and work with my dear friends. And Karen is a longtime astrologer. She's written many, many books, an author. She has her new tarot book out. What's the title of it?
Awaken to Tarot.
Awaken to Tarot.
And the cards are Awaken Tarot cards. Yeah, Awaken Tarot cards.
Yeah. So
I've been at every one of these. So this is I've been involved in the 12. I've been with you along, and we were initiated together. So
yeah, I know. We both are priestesses of Mary Magdalene, and that's been the most fun, hasn't it? It's just
really.
It's just what brings us the greatest joy, and we've formed such a wonderful community of people, and people come from near and far, and many people have been coming for years. And
I'm really proud of what you've done. You've done great. You're like a gatherer of community, and you've done a great job.
Yeah,
well, continue to grow. I mean, we were just with Joe Dispenza.
Yeah.
So you're doing great. I'm glad to be part of it.
Yeah, it's really fun, and it's been uplifting, and it's really what's wanted and needed, because when women, we're 51% of the population, and I remember Marianne Williamson was talking one time about she travels all over the United States, and she says, I don't care what side of the fence a woman is on, red, white, blue, purple. She said, it's like when you talk about that we have statistically 17,000 children a day dying of starvation. We're at war. It's like, who would have thought we'd be at war again? It's like, oh my God. And women are 51%. There's no woman who's really okay with this. They don't want to send their sons to war. They don't want children to starve, but we're not a unified front. We haven't gathered and become what the Course of Love calls the forerunners of Mary, where we bring forth the power and the presence of love on this planet and send that nurturing wave of healing energy. So these ceremonies are not just ceremonies for us to have fun, but they're actual building blocks that help to build the consciousness and the awareness and the unification of wholeness, so that we have a moment of experience of wholehearted joy. And when people touch into that wholeness, it's the best, isn't it? It's like
it's an enactment, and they're always bhakti highs. They're so uplifting. It's like to engage in this kind of spiritual community is such a gift, and it affects the whole body and the emotional nature, and also spiritually, of course, and the mind. So I've loved them. I mean, I remember crying and feeling such joy of being, and just Joseph Campbell calls it an enactment of a myth. And the myth is the awakening of the feminine. And I'm really glad that you do these.
And that's what's been so missing, is the presence of the divine feminine. I mean, she's just beginning to rise. People say, well, it's all about unification and wholeness anyway. Yeah. And you have the patriarchy up here, and you have the divine feminine, barely a blip on the radar. You got to raise her up, and then you can move into wholeness. And then from there, we go into a profound experience of love. So that's really a wonderful opportunity and blessing. So we're starting at 4 p.m. on April 17th, which is Easter Sunday afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. So tell us, Karen, what are we in store for with the energies based on the astrology?
Well, it's interesting. It's the awakening, sleeping lady awakening, and we have Venus rising. And that's like, if we could see a flat horizon, the Venus would be right there. And this is a powerful chart. It has a beautiful trine between the moon, which is the feminine. I call it the goddess powers, and Venus is the womanly wonder. So we have that harmony of the feminine energies, really beautiful this day. And it's conjunct Hygienia, the moon, which is healing, and Scorpio, intense power. And then we have an opposition with Mercury, which is our mind, and Uranus is revolutionizing, changing. So be willing, ready, willing, and able to see your mind in a whole different way. And this is to look at how you feel and what you think. So this is a pertinent thing. And then that Venus sextiles Mercury. So that's like open to communication, and Uranus is innovative relationship. So this is just telling us that feminine energy is connected to the mental processes and awakening process. The most beautiful thing that's happening right now is that we have a Jupiter conjunct Neptune in Pisces. And this only happens 166 years ago, it happened. And at that time in history, there was an endings of the war, a war in France, flooding in France, and there was a war ending. I really haven't done much research on it, but right now it's the most angelic energy of the year. And it's Pisces is spirituality, and Jupiter is abundance, and Neptune, they belong there. This is like potency, and it's in the house of relationship. So we have spiritual, angelic, powerful, creative energy. Now this is also extremely emotional, and it could be flooding in the mundane level because it's so much water, but it's so much spiritual energy. The energy is coming down so strongly right now that we are, many of us are tired or having issues because our bodies can't necessarily handle it. So just awaken, sleep when you're tired, rest, awaken to this, take responsibility, or take hold of the opportunity is what I'm saying. And with community, this is a beautiful celebration of this energy.
Yeah.
Now there's so much in this chart. Sun is in Aries at this time, and it's squaring Pluto, and it's conjunct Eris. So let me go with what is square to Pluto is. Pluto is death, rebirth. It's like we've got to change how we see ourselves. And it's in the house of, the water house of collective, joining with others, and digging deep into that, watching your thoughts, watching that ego, and just letting go of what the old ways of doing and striving and struggle, and really surrendering and tuning up to this higher level. Because the spiritual destiny, which is Sedna, I've been studying these dwarf planets, and the practical destiny of the North Node are both in Taurus and conjunct. So our practical and spiritual destiny is higher learning and the sense of grounding it through our higher consciousness. So
and don't you think that's one of the significant things about these sacred holy rituals is that when we come together, we go into an expanded state of consciousness, like the Venus rising. And then when we get into that kind of, there's the angelic energy that we can tap into and the higher learning. It allows us to be the best that we can be. It allows us to move into and claim our sacred holy self, which is where healing happens. It's where solutions, divine solutions come forward. And then when you join, this joining thing that you're talking about, you could speak more about that and why that's so significant, but that creates the power to change the world, right?
When, Jesus said, when two or more together, I am there too. There's an amplification that happens. There's a vibration. These are so uplifting, and it's like we're putting out, we have a frequency that we're raising, and it's extremely powerful. And this Pluto is that what's happening in this creative joy that we're creating is trining this spiritual destiny as well as this practical destiny. So, and they're grounded in the physical earth. So it's an amazing amazing chart and day and time and event, and there's enormous healing going on.
That is so powerful.
Feeling. And it's like we need to look at our wounds and let them go and move beyond being wounded healers and just look and know that that's the process. It's what cracks us open to the divine. And there's a enormous healing in this day. And we have Black Moon Lilith on the purpose, which is that deep primordial drive. And it's in Gemini through communication and connection and day-to-day connections. That we're talking the other day that our spiritual ashram is our day-to-day life. Whatever happens, with the mundane. I've been saying the goddess is to resist nothing, to surrender, to have that flow. And the divine says, and how do we not resist in this mundane world? You just keep surrendering, breathing. And that's what this is. This is the feminine is rising, the woman, the sleeping, we're all sleeping, we're awakening to the new energies, and the feminine is within all of us, that divine, receptive, loving nature. It's a powerful day.
And how is that energy for you when you are in that energy with all of us together? I mean, isn't it the best? It's like so beautiful.
It is so high. It is so wonderful. I mean, I remember being in the groups and just, swaying with the bhakti, but also I remember sitting on my little chair, in my own room and feeling this intense bliss going through my body in a Zoom meeting. It was just an amazing experience. I was meditating in a huge group of a big amplified energy. It comes through. It does.
Yeah. I was wondering when we switched from doing these in person to doing them on Zoom, if that would still work, but it does work because it's really, the energy is a field, and the field is all connected. And so it's through our intention and our heart opening and then aligning with these energies that are present to support us. That's why it's important to kind of wake up to what is the energies, and then you want to step in when the energies are happening. This is my understanding of it. And then what it does is it just amplifies, as you said, it just helps to expand the frequency and the vibration. And then we move into this angelic realm of happiness that is like I live for these moments. They're so
Make
wonderful.
you laugh, and it's like a meeting point. And this particular day, we're being asked to commit because
Oh, wow.
Saturn is conjunct Juno, and best up, focus and commit to your spiritual practice.
Yeah.
We're being asked, and this is just reminding you, and this is like a celebration, and it's a connection, and it's an amplification, and it's a reminder. It's a loving hug and
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
connect.
So what are we going to commit to? Are we going to commit to more war? Or are we going to commit to, as the Course of Love says, love is a celebration. So it's like, that's our choice. But really, we have to raise up. We have to speak our truth. We have to stand in our power. We have to claim the love that we are. And we have to radiate that out. We have to like let people know. We can't be intimidated and you know,
And let
block.
go of the past. Just be
Yeah,
brand new each day. But, this is a sense. This moon is conjunct the south node. There's a way of how you see habitual patterns. Just the most important thing we can do right now is to keep our vibration high, no matter what's happening on the mundane level. As we keep our vibration, and this is a wonderful reminder and connection. It's a celebration of life in some way. Celebrate
yeah,
Easter is a renewal, a resurgence. It's springtime, and springtime is life is busting forth, and
yeah,
that's what's happening. The spirit is busting forth, and even though it's so intense, there's an enormous amount of energy, and that's what we need to focus on. I don't know if you felt it. I certainly have.
I know. I took a walk the other day, and when I stepped out, it was like, whoa, you could feel the spring was in the air. It was very uplifting. So yeah, there's a good energy, and I just love that there's more light and angelic presence anyway. So
One
we
more
just
thing, just the Virgo rising. So
uh-huh.
this means practical, day to day, every day in every way. I get better. It's just we need to just keep plugging along. That your connection with with your relationships is your connection with God.
Yeah.
You're our teachers, your children, your friends. Your day-to-day life is the process, and this celebration is just to inspire you and uplift you and remind you and connect with you and
Yeah.
feed you on the deepest spiritual level. And it's fun too. It's really fun.
It's the best. I mean, we have so much fun when we do these. So we'll hope to see you on 4 p.m. Pacific California time, online on Zoom, and you can go to the Gospel of Mary Magdalene.info, and you'll see that you can sign up there, click on the link and register and get your Zoom link and join us on Easter Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much, Karen. Blessings to you. I appreciate all your wisdom and your sharing such a glorious day. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
And just take
Blessings.
advantage of this Jupiter Neptune energy. Just raise that vibration. It's exact on the 12th, but we're in the influence of it for a while.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Blessing.